Hello, I am actually back to doing reviews. I haven't done it now for a few years, but I say to hell with that. I'd like to chronicle my collection as I go along. Um, what we have here is a Tudor GMT. This is new as of 2018, and it has a lot of good qualities about it. And it also has a lot of, well, it it has one very, very poor quality. And just kind of zoom in and around here. Take my time. You can tell I've been wearing it. I gave it a wash before the video. It was pretty grungy. But all the polished surfaces on the Tudor steel does tend to scratch pretty easy because I've only worn this watch now for 2.5 weeks. And like, as you can see here, it is pretty scratched up, especially down here on the clasp. So some of the things that I absolutely love and adore about this watch are the snowflake hour hand, the GMT snowflake, and also the seconds snowflake. I've actually gone out on a limb and nicknamed this watch. I like to call it the Blizzard. You know, you got the 3 snowflakes. Rather than just calling it the snowflake, it just sounds so cool to call it the Blizzard. So hopefully that actually catches and starts the trend. So one of my major dislikes on this watch are the thickness. Where are we here? The thickness of the case. So when I first initially got this watch, I really studied it and I looked it over and pondered, should I get it? You know, is 14.8 millimeters, well, we'll just call it 15 for the sake of just rounding it out for the last 0.02 millimeters. Just call it 15 millimeters. You have a diameter on this watch which is 41 millimeters, which is perfect. You know, it balances. It's not too big in the 42 mils, and it's not too small in the Submariner zone. It balances nice at 41, but then when you take into consideration the thickness of the watch, which is 15 millimeters, it actually becomes unwearable in my opinion. It catches on everything. It's heavy. In my humble opinion, the more that I study this watch and the more that I really evaluate it and look it over and scrutinize it, I find it's almost like they went out of their way to make it thick. Everyone says that it's due to the new movement in here, the 54-52. But when you look at the handset, let me see if I can actually catch that. Can you guys see the handset, how far apart it is? And why would they raise that crystal and make it even more thick? People want to say that Tudor just pays homage to the past, and thus that's why they put that bubble top crystal on there. But it doesn't work in this model. You can't have a GMT watch. I know it's from the Black Bay range, but you can't have a GMT watch that thick. That's Breitling territory. And I mean, you know, Breitling specifically makes watches that are thick, and monstrosities, you know, for the genre that really loves it. But this is Tudor, you know. I don't know. I've owned a Chronomat BL1 before when it first came out, and that was 18 mils thick, and I told myself I would never buy another thick watch, and look at what I've gone and done. This isn't so much buyer's remorse because I went into it knowing that, you know, it was 15 mils, and that is pretty considerable given that it's a GMT watch, and more specifically, not a dive watch, it's a gentleman's piece. With that being said, I couldn't pull it off. It was too heavy. It's too top heavy. It's like wearing a puck on your wrist. So, you know my feelings about it at any rate. Now I'll go into the positives, because there are actually so many positives to this watch other than that one blaring and glaring horrid thickness that they really need to reconsider here. And I know everybody's going to say, yeah, that's what the BB58 does. Well, they should have never released this until they figured out the thickness of it, really. Because it's a shame. It's so gorgeous. Like, you look at this piece, and what can you say against the aesthetics of it? They hit it out of the park. It's perfect. It's the indices are the perfect size. The text on the dial is perfectly placed. All the snowflake hands that I pointed out are just gorgeous. The logoing and the text and the Tudor writing are absolutely impeccable. And actually, when you macro this dial, it's flawless. They did it perfect. And all the minute ticks in here, that's actually all applied, and the writing and logoing is all like a very light silver. So they really got it right in terms of the aesthetics of the watch. And the movement, let me tell you, I have never actually owned a watch as accurate as this watch. So I had it on the watch winder for a week before I wore it. And having it on the watch winder, I, did my testing to begin with. But it's hard to take testing when you first get a watch because it's settling in. It's never been worn. It really does. It's like an engine. It really needs to set in and kind of find its placement and get a little bit of wear on it. But when I wore it for the 2.5 weeks, it was literally within a second every single day. It was actually fast by a second every single day. And one of those days, it was flawless. And here's the thing, I never actually let it rest. So I never take it off at night. I wear it all night and all day. I wear it in the shower. I wear it constantly. Thus all the extreme wear already on the watch. So yeah, the accuracy of the 54-52 movement is superb. Like, wow, I am blown away. I've owned 3 Submariners now. I'll be doing a review of that beautiful baby, the bluesy here right away. So that's the 3135. And I've owned a 16610 and the ceramic as well. Both of those were one was -2, and then the older 16610 still hasn't been serviced. It's been 11 years now. So shame on me, but I just really don't want to send it in. And it's still telling great time. I don't wear it all the time, so that is actually plus 4 seconds. Sometimes it's -2, but majority of the time it's plus 4. And so yeah, to have this bad boy knock it out of the park and be well beyond Kosk specs is incredible, and I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. And you can actually feel the quality of this when you unwind the stem. It is buttery smooth. It is just a treat to use, and solid, absolutely solid. When you pull it out and you're winding it, it's just so smooth. It is pure Rolex all the way. I don't know if you've ever handled a subby and played with this winding stem on it and rotated the hours and stuff, but it has a smoothness, and this exhibits it perfectly. Just amazing. So yeah, I love every single thing about this GMT watch. This is my, even given that I'm going to be getting rid of it because of the thickness, and it's just, I can't manage it. I don't like that weight, and I don't like the thickness. It's unnecessary. Even given that circumstance, that I even have to get rid of the watch because of it, aesthetically and build quality and just the movement, the dial, the layout of the bezel, the Pepsi, oh my god, like they got the coloring perfect. The faux riveting I even love. The bracelet is second to none. Screwed links. It's got ceramic ball bearings on the secondary clasp. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. If you can pull off the thickness and you want and are considering the GMT, I wouldn't even hesitate to jump at this watch. The price point is spectacular for what you're getting. You're getting a high-end Rolex essentially for half the dollar value, and I don't think there's a waiting list anymore. I might be wrong, but I think the availability of these has greatly increased, and I don't think the waiting lists are really there any longer. But yeah, so that's my take on this. And again, you have your beautiful crown, the Tudor, the old school Tudor logo. I love that. Oh, that's another thing. The coin edge on the bezel, like that coin edge is sexy. And if I can hold this still, let me see here. So this coin edge actually matches perfectly to the coin edge that they did on the, well, you can call it knurling, but it basically follows exact same suit as the bezel on the crown. Let me get in there. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's exactly the same. There she is. 1 second, I'm just going to flip her around so you can see underneath. So on the back here, you can tell this is obviously Rolex DNA due to the fact that the way they do their case backs. But yeah, you can see the thickness. You know what? For the sake of this video and to show you exactly what I mean, 1 second here. Here we are. Like think you can actually see the difference. It gives you a pretty good scope, you know, a pretty good scope of the thickness of the GMT. It's astronomically thick, and I don't know what they were thinking, to tell you the truth. And again, like, I'm a watch freak. I read and research and everything that you could possibly learn about watches. I go out of my way to learn everything that I can. So I'm not understating the thickness of it. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching this long, extended video.